So let's go ahead and start off this episode with the first player that we want to zoom in on. He got a max rookie extension from the Orlando Magic not too long ago. This is going to be wing Franz Wagner for the Orlando Magic. And this is a deal that some people may be surprised to see. He's not a household name. He's not Paul George. He's not LeBron James. He's not Anthony Edwards. So when it comes to a max rookie extension, he's probably not the first name that some people think of. But regardless of the general perception of Franz, he is a great player. He just finished his third year with the Orlando Magic. He had a great season for them. He was a big part of their resurgence up the Eastern Conference. They did get into the playoffs. They lost that first round series against the Cleveland Cavaliers in 7 games. But Franz has really taken steps forward in his game every single season. Next to Paolo, they form a great front court rotation. So for Franz, his deal is pretty significant. It's going to be 5 years, $224 million. But there is a potential for $269 million. Of course, there's those kickers that come into play if he hits a all-NBA team, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year. Those can kick his contract up several more $1 million. So for next season, he's going to be in the last year of his rookie deal. And then for 25-26, it's going to jump to $38.6 million with the 8% raises for the next 4 seasons. So for Franz, it's a large bag of money. And Steven, my first impression of this deal was that, in this point in time right now, is he worth $224 million plus? Maybe not quite, but I think part of the reason the Magic did this deal is because they see him as continuing to take those steps forward in his game. He's already a super versatile forward. He can move the ball well. He can run pick and rolls. He can guard almost every position on the floor. He's one of the best defensive players out there. When you're talking about wings, you go and look at his numbers on dunks and threes as far as the defensive estimated plus minus. He's 21st. He was 21st in NBA on that front. So just to kind of give some kind of a marker of his defensive potential, he has that in his bag. So the one area of his game he needs to improve upon is that 3-point shot. He finished at only 28% last season. But in the seasons past, first and second season, he was in the mid-30s, 35, 36%. So it's in his bag, and he is an 80+% free throw shooter. So I imagine that this last season was an outlier. He will get back to prior levels. He'll be a good 3-point shooter. But he can do pretty much everything else. He can Euro step. He can get by defenders. He can do pretty much anything on the court. So I think that's why he garnered this deal, is because he is exactly what you look for in a modern forward, modern wing in the NBA. Being able to do everything at 6'10" is really incredible. So I think it's a good deal for the Magic, and they had the cap space. So you might as well give this guy this contract. It's not like you're going to get some other big free agent to come in that's better than KCP most likely. So why not do the deal? What did you think when you saw this deal? Were you in a little bit of sticker shock, or were you kind of in the same camp as me to where you kind of see the potential of Franz Wagner and why he deserved this kind of a deal?
So I don't want to say I was surprised, because I thought that, if you want to keep these guys that you're drafting that are homegrown happy, I mean, we saw the Pistons do the same thing with Cade Cunningham. I know that's a different situation because the Pistons aren't, they're still rebuilding. They're not quite a playoff team yet. Mm-hmm. So they have to, Cade is sort of the cornerstone franchise player that they do have. So they have to make him happy. Right. But I think it was about 6 months ago, somebody asked me about rookie extensions on Twitter. And I said, I'm not sure if Franz Wagner is going to get the full max rookie extension. And I had Magic fans tweeting at me like it was a no-brainer. So obviously they watch the Magic more than I do. They felt differently. But what I will say is that I know you mentioned 3-point shooting. It sort of fell off a cliff, especially around the playoff time. I know you said he only shot 28% last year. Mm-hmm. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I would say probably around the All-Star break, he probably wasn't about that 35, 36% that he was his first 2 years. And then after that, basically after the All-Star break up through the end of the playoffs, the shooting fell off a cliff. I thought recency bias would play a little bit of a role in terms of, when they're negotiating that contract, that, the shooting fell off a cliff, and as a result, maybe he doesn't get the full max. Obviously, that isn't what happened. That's not what transpired. And I'll also note that usually, like, Woj, Shams, any newsbreakers, they have a tendency to tweet, the maximum outcome of the deal. So I think it was reported, Franz Wagner 5'4", 270 or whatever it was. I know we said 269 was if he hits the what's sort of not Supermax, the designated rookie extension that would bump it to 30%.
Yep.
And so yeah, I wouldn't say total sticker shock. I mean, obviously, if he were to make All NBA this year, which would be probably if he were to get that rookie extension, that would most likely be how he would do it. That's a substantial. I mean, 270 million is extensive. 224 obviously isn't. You don't have a choice. That's the thing that's tough with a lot of these rookie deals is that yes, the guys are homegrown, and if they're success stories, you're going to have to pay them. We saw Andrew Wiggins years ago with the Timberwolves get a massive rookie extension at the time, which wasn't nearly as ludicrous as this deal because the cap was substantially less, and the hope was, he has to play and grow into this deal essentially to be worth that value. So that's a lot of the time what rookie extensions are. Obviously, I'm just thinking like Tyrese Maxey, obviously different draft class, and he was an extension. He gave them the cap space and then re-signed for the 5-4-2-4. But like he's clearly already earned it. Franz, as great of a player as he is, second best player on the playoff team right now, I wouldn't say he quite earned that entire contract, but the hope obviously is similar to what the Andrew Wiggins theory was okay, he's good enough already that, he's going to keep getting better. And as a result, kind of play his way into being worth that deal.
Exactly. Yep. That's where I'm at. That's exactly what I said on Twitter. I made my thoughts clear. I thought that a lot of potential played into this deal. It was factored into the amount. So a lot of players that get the max rookie extension are no-brainers. They've earned it, like you said, with Tyrese Maxey. He was all-star player, already, huge scoring games in the playoffs. I mean, he was incredible. I mean, he was magnificent. So that was a no-brainer that most people saw coming. Whether or not you're a Philly fan or you follow the NBA closely or not, you just know it's coming. With Franz, it's a little bit different. But, I mean, you can see the outline of an all-star player, if not an all-NBA player. Like guys that can do so much of what he can do on the court, kind of similar to Scotty Barnes. I think they were thinking along the same lines with Scotty Barnes. You saw the growth in Scotty's game with that. It was kind of the opposite with Scotty. The three-point shot went up. So in his third season, he had a real uptick in that part of his game. His shooting game came around. So you can start to see the outline of a great player that is worth investing $200+ million into. So that's the way it works in many areas in the NBA. It's kind of the same thing as it works the same way in the draft. A lot of players that are drafted in the top 10, today, are they really great guys that came out of college? Maybe not. Maybe they had flashes, but you're banking on those flashes to turn into more consistent production that can give you the best possible outcome for that player. So that's why you take a player in the top 10 and invest $8, $9, $10+ million in them each year, as it is now with the cap going up. So I think that's where it comes into play for Franz. And yeah, with the Magic, they did a lot of deals like this offseason, kind of re-upping players, re-signing them. His brother, Mo Wagner, got a new deal as well. So the Magic really believe in this core, and adding in players like KCP, I think in their mind, hey, if we can just kind of add around the margins to this core, we're going to be in great shape. And time will tell if they can get there, but you can see where they're going, after that huge improvement last season. There is definitely an outline of a great team there. They just have to, I think, just kind of unlock it and hope for more internal growth.
And the one thing I know we are going to talk more about what the Magic did, but Jalen Suggs, also same draft class as Franz Wagner, he is also going to be due a rookie extension. So I'm interested to see what that looks like, because this team's going to get expensive really fast.
It is.
So we'll have to see, what happens with that Suggs contract.
With Paolo in line for another rookie max deal as well. So yeah, with the Magic, they had cap space this summer, but time is limited. That's not going to last very long. So they're trying to maximize what they can do with it while they have it, which makes a lot of sense.